myself if this is your first time joining me. I'm Andrea Moorhead Allen, and I believe that everyone has the right to work in a psychologically safe environment. I am so honored to serve as the broadcast journalist for End Workplace Abuse. Now, here's a little bit more about me. I worked for 35 years as a news anchor in a number of cities across the country, with the last 21 years in my hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana. I actually walked away from my weekday evening anchor position on June 5th of 2020. Now, I've been sharing my experience for the past 2 years, and it's really in an effort to help other people through their workplace abuse journey as well. And so many people are experiencing this, which is simply devastating. I am a fierce advocate of healthy spaces, and I now serve as the co-bill director for the EWA chapter in Indiana. I actually wrote and produced EWA's first annual Voice in Action rally. You might have seen it. It aired on New Year's Day of 2025. And if you haven't seen it, it's also posted here on my YouTube page, My Silence Is Not For Sale, as well as on EWA's website. It's such a great, comprehensive 40-minute production, and it clearly defines and highlights the physical and mental effects of workplace abuse. It offers information about your legal options. It encourages you to be part of our national advocacy group to help us pass the Workplace Psychological Safety Act in your state. And it also has the first interview with the husband and friend of Dr. Antoinette Bonnie Candia Bailey. You may remember that she ended her life to escape the pain of workplace abuse. Well, this year, I'm focusing more specifically about the legal battles that they all endure. I'm going to use my experience to highlight the legal process so you can better assess, how do I navigate this situation? And if anyone knows, it's me. I have filed a federal lawsuit against my former employer, and now I'm suing them again for defamation for using a picture of me in relationship to an alleged fraud story that had nothing to do with me. You may be thinking, retaliation? Retaliation is real. At the very least, this is really to help you know that you are not alone, and you will get through this. I don't care who's in the White House. In my house, respect, integrity, kindness, and compassion, they are non-negotiables in every aspect of my life. That's how I decide where I spend my time, how I spend my money, and with whom. It's not an act of defiance. I believe it's our birthright to thrive and to collaborate with those people who value us. So let's grow, let's glow, and let's flow together on this journey to heal. Now, if you had told me that my career, that had really been a lifelong dream of mine since 4th grade, would end because of workplace abuse, I would not have believed you. I didn't even know what workplace abuse was. I still don't believe it. Sometimes I feel like I'm having this out-of-body experience, almost as if I've just been on a long hiatus, kind of a 5-year-long hiatus, with plans to return. But the bottom line is that the past 5+ years have been filled with a lot of turmoil and a lot of pain. My confidence at times has been shattered. My relationships, they've all been tested. And there are still times when I ask myself, could I have just stuck it out a little longer? It's almost like having buyer's remorse. I made the choice to walk away, but I lost my income. I haven't worked in my dream career for 5 years, and I'm still suffering in many ways that have yet to be explained but will be over time. Real talk. They'll never verbally say it, but they want you gone. Gone from their environment, and perhaps gone from the world, because companies are afraid of your kind. You know, the one that's going to hold a light up to their darkness of deceit and lies. You are their worst enemy because you intentionally chose to not join the bully gang. Now, I know the word gang can conjure up visions of the criminal sort, right? But when you peel back the layers of the onion and you speak about the real definition of a gang, it's when a number of people form a group and they share a common objective. In the work environment, when a group, 2 or more, when they are intentional about carrying out the same unconscionable behavior, I consider that to be a gang of deplorables, because what they are doing is in fact deplorable. Who would actually agree that bullying should be protected? Think about what I said. Who would agree that bullying should be protected? Well, the fact that there are no laws that clearly ban it, the converse of that is that we support bullying, that we support workplace abuse, that we support gaslighting, even discrimination of all kinds, because current federal laws don't really protect us. They need to be overhauled because it's practically impossible to prove intent. No doubt we know that it's wrong. In fact, over 70 million people are bullied in the workplace. Now, I'm thinking that's enough to realize that we clearly have a problem that has to be dismantled. So what is it going to take for us to do something? Well, there was a case some years ago where a reporter shot and killed a fellow photographer and anchor as they were either taping or doing a live report. And as he was cornered by police, he then shot himself. Media reports that came out later revealed a suicide note, and in the note, he said he had been bullied and attacked at the station for being a gay black man. He claimed he suffered racial discrimination as well as sexual harassment. Of course, I'm not condoning what he did. I am, though, highlighting how the excruciating pain from workplace bullying can affect rationality. And it compels some to choose to hurt someone or even themselves. Suicide. The pain for some can simply be unbearable. Bullying is an offense to one's soul and to their humanity, so much so that it literally scrambles your brain. Your logical thinking becomes illogical. In fact, Jen Fraser, who wrote The Bully Brain, she says if you were to put your brain through an MRI, you would see it scrambled, much like CTE patients. Which means suicide ideation, it's real, it's unfortunate, that it also leads to suicide. The rate continues to increase because people are isolated. Management refuses to do anything about it. They in turn turn on you by retaliating, gaslighting, and even more. And you're like, but I thought sharing with HR is going to protect me. I thought they were going to do something about it. And oh, they do. They do something about it. You then become the object of their behavior, the horrible behavior against you. And it feels like there's no way out because your brain has been bullied. You simply want the pain to stop. I just want to say rest in peace to all of those who should still be with us, like Dr. Antoinette Bonnie Candia Bailey of Lincoln University of Missouri. She was a workplace whistleblower. Workplace whistleblowers are not protected. Companies and their legal eagles, they are relentless in pursuing you to death, both figuratively and literally. And they should be held responsible. Think about this. It actually took years for the federal government to finally form OSHA, making companies accountable for workplace injuries, physical injuries. Now, every single company must follow a set of guidelines to diminish, if not even avoid, workplace injuries. So it makes sense that we need laws to protect us from psychological injuries as well. There's a code of silence. No one shares the workplace abuse playbook with you, where one of the plays by HR is that when someone goes to them and files a complaint, it's understood that they're going to use your information against you, and they initiate the plan to gang up on you with more unconscionable behaviors. And it's all in an effort to push you out and to silence you. While we're led to believe that the truth shall set us free, some folks, co-workers, company managers, leaders, and yes, even company attorneys, even the ones they hire outside of the company, they don't want to be free. Well, they want to be free of us, free of you, because we're the ones who got away. We're the ones who they've been trying to initiate to behave like them because there's safety in numbers, right? When you decided to walk away, they're afraid that you're going to scream to the high heavens about all of their nefarious ways because they know they're wrong and they don't want to get caught because they would lose their livelihoods. And without guardrails to hold them accountable, they lose nothing. I've said this for so long. The system is set up for them to win. And it really became clear for me during my pursuit for justice. I naively thought, well, I was discriminated against. It's wrong. So what am I going to do? I'm going to sue them, right? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do because that's my right. That's what's available for me, for all of us. Now, I'm going to be so transparent because I want you to really understand the process so that you can make an informed decision about what you should do. What should you do? Should you sue your employer for discrimination? Should you sue your employer for retaliation, gaslighting, workplace psychological abuse? So let's get into it. Let's talk about, should you file a lawsuit against your employer? Here's a 10-point checklist that I want you to consider. Now, we're going to be talking about these issues over the course of this season, as there are a number of issues to really delve into. Now, I know the American way is filing a lawsuit, that is a process of seeking justice, right? Filing a lawsuit is our right, but yet companies act a little surprised when they get the lawsuit, when they realize she's suing me or he's suing me. But I say, don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. And to you, I say, don't feel guilty in any way for doing it because it is your right. Now, whether you do it is up to you. Here are some things to consider. Number 1, the top 10, but we're only going to talk about 5 right now. The first thing to do is to consider legal standing. That is, do you have a legitimate legal claim? Now, on the face of it, you're going to feel like you do, right? You will. You feel that way because the treatment has been hurtful, it's been unconscionable, it's been damaging to your spirit, and you're asking yourself, how can people get away with this? The reality is there are some actions and behaviors that are not necessarily actionable in a court of law, meaning it doesn't meet the legal standard as determined by precedent cases, state statutes, or even federal laws. Meaning, what are the elements of your case that you can prove that run afoul of the law? You definitely want to consult an attorney. That person is going to evaluate the strength of your case. We're going to talk about that process in a later episode because who you select as an attorney can make or even break your case. I have so many examples to support that statement. Well, again, more on that later. The second aspect to consider is jurisdiction and venue. You want to ensure that you're filing in the correct court with the proper authority over the matter. Should it be filed in state court or federal court? Your attorney will listen to your case. They'll make a determination as to which jurisdiction and which venue you should be in. Now, here's a little suggestion. I would suggest before you meet with an attorney, do some research so that you have a baseline understanding of the process so that you can ask pertinent questions related to your specific case and your specific evidence. And again, remember, no 2 cases will ever be the same. Number 3, the statute of limitations. This means you really want to check the time limit that your case has before it expires. Different claims have different deadlines. Again, this can be determined by your attorney, but the rule of thumb is to move quickly. Don't ask everybody under the sun, should I do it, should I not do it? You got to make a decision. Do not ruminate about it because the longer you wait, you may be down and out, meaning you may not be able to file the lawsuit because you've missed the deadline. The statute of limitations have run out. So make sure you know what to do. Now, perhaps the most important aspect of the 10-point checklist is number 4. I believe it's the most important because this is about your evidence and your documentation. You need to gather all of your relevant records, your contracts, emails, witness statements, anything that will help support your case. Don't forget about those text messages, the DMs, social media, audio recordings, even the voicemails. And let me tell you, a year after I walked away from my job, I found 3 voicemails from one of my witnesses that you could call it the smoking gun, or should I say the 3 smoking guns? And when I tell you, they were hot. I mean, on fire, 5-alarm fire hot. Clear admissions regarding a situation. I'll have more on that later, but let's just say hot, sizzling hot. Now, it would not have made a difference in my racial discrimination case because, again, as I mentioned earlier, that hinges on proving intent, but it does confirm my voicemails confirmed several times over what was told to me regarding my coworkers who were making bets on whether or not I was going to call out sick on my treatment days because I was going through breast cancer treatments at the time. Opposing counsel, they know because I gladly handed it all over to them. Now remember, people are going to say, oh, I don't believe your story. That never happened. But again, when you are armed with evidence, facts are facts, and truth is truth. And the truth is provable by evidence. And the truth is always a defense. Number 5, the potential cost. Lawsuits can be expensive, including attorney fees, court costs, and expert witness fees, even the depositions. And don't forget the retainer, just to get started with some attorneys. I would say this is perhaps one of the most important aspects to consider as well, because you have to ask yourself, will the potential outcome justify the expense? And I don't just mean financially and monetarily. Some attorneys will work on a contingency, especially if they feel your evidence is substantial and you'll likely win something. But remember, attorneys are making a livelihood too, and so they're not going to waste their time if they're not going to recoup their investment of time and work on your case. Now, here's kind of a funny story. Someone told me about an attorney that wanted to move from a contingency fee to an hourly pay scale. Mind you, hourly fees can range anywhere from $250 an hour and even more. Assuming you start at $250 an hour, if they don't settle on a contingency, meaning they're going to get paid when you get paid by taking a percentage of your settlement, anywhere from 33% or a little bit more. But if we start at $250 an hour and they do a minimum of 10 hours a week for 2 years, that person will take in about $260,000 at least in 2 years on your case. And this is just scratching the surface. So that really gives you an idea of what you're facing financially. One thing that I have learned also during this process for the past 5 years is that there is a price to be paid for justice. We talked about financially. Now let's talk about emotionally, which leads to the other thing you need to consider, which is your time and your commitment to the process. We're going to discuss that in part 2. What I've given you so far, I want you to just take a little time to go back, look at those top 5 points, and I would love for you to write down the pros and the cons for each as you begin to build your case, whether or not litigation is the answer to seeking justice from your employer or your former employer for psychological abuse. There's no right or wrong answer. It's what's right for you. It's what works for you and your family. No one can make that determination but you. There are some things that I would have done differently, perhaps. And yet, the decision that I made was a game time decision. It was in the moment. It was in the moment. But I hope that this is the beginning of you just being able to really assess, is this something that is going to be beneficial and worth my while? Especially when you know the deck is stacked against you. And it is. I've said it all the time. The system is rigged. And companies know it. Company attorneys know it. They know there are no guardrails. And without guardrails, they'll do whatever they want to because they know they can get away with it. And you're the one who's still going through the journey of trying to seek justice and wondering, when will this pain stop? So you have to ask yourself, those 5 things that I've given you, again, get a sheet of paper, write the pros and the cons down, and ask yourself at the end, is this going to be worth my time? How else can I use my time to seek justice? I've said justice is defined by the person who seeks it. Your justice may not look like what justice is for me, or vice versa. And that's okay. That's okay. You have to live with your decision and what makes you feel good about having some level of accountability. And no one can answer that but you. Seek counsel, but I also say, trust your gut, trust your intuition, trust how you feel, trust your journey, because this is your journey. So we're going to talk about the last 5 in the next episode in part 2. But just spend a little time with these top 5 because I think they're really, really important to help you begin to discover if suing is the right way to find accountability. So I'll see you for the next round. I'm excited about sharing not just my experience, but the experience of so many others who have gone the legal route and some of the lessons that all of us can learn to help you make a sound decision for yourself. Again, whatever decision you make is your decision, but we want to just give you the tools so that you are armed with enough information to begin your journey if you decide to sue your employer. So continue to follow this page. This is also going to be made available on EWA's website. And just know that as you are continuing to seek justice, we have all the information that you need on EWA's website, that is End Workplace Abuse, to learn everything you need to know about how to seek justice, but also how to help pass this law in your state. That's the ultimate goal, so that we can pass the Workplace Psychological Safety Act so that all of us can work in a safe environment. I'll see you for part 2 as we continue to assess should you or should you not sue your employer. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you next time.